Hello, friends. You say you're looking for a drug-type experience, but you don't want to do any drugs, and you don't want any of that annoying brain damage? I think you came to the right place. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. This is my closet full of all the stuff that I love, and today it's part 3 of our Films on Drugs series. Today, a film that uses so many cinematic tricks and techniques, you might feel like you're on drugs while you're watching it, or wish that you were. And maybe that's the point. Let's check it out. The film we're talking about today is Requiem for a Dream. It's from the year 2000. It's 102 minutes. It's in color. And this is about 4 people who are all addicted to something. And they all also have a dream, but the drugs they're addicted to tend to get in the way of them reaching those dreams. It's divided into 4 seasons with different title cards crashing down loudly to announce each season of the film. So it takes place about over a year. The cast is pretty good. It's Ellen Burstyn is really the main character, I think. And she's an Oscar winner for Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. She, of course, was in The Exorcist. She was great in The Last Picture Show. It also stars Jared Leto, who won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. And I'm sure you know him as the Joker in some of these DC films like Suicide Squad. Marlon Wayans is in it. He usually does comedy. He was in the In Living Color TV series and in some of the Scary Movie series. But it's a serious role for him. He's very good. And the beautiful Jennifer Connelly, who won an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind and was in many TV series and films, including The Hot Spot. The director was Darren Aronofsky. I think this was only his second feature film, which is pretty amazing. He went on to make The Wrestler, which I wasn't too crazy about, Black Swan, which I was okay with, and the film Mother, which was a very divisive film. Some people hated it. I thought it was really good. I thought it really worked well. He co-wrote the screenplay with Hubert Selby Jr., and this is based on his book. He had quite an interesting life as well. Drug addiction, incarceration, a lot of health problems. Ellen Burstyn's character is, I think, the most sympathetic and the most well-developed character. She is a widow. She's elderly, not real old, but she's elderly. And she is very much all alone. And she's addicted to several things, including the TV, and especially one show, which seems like an infomercial. Every time she turns the TV on, there's this infomercial, and they're selling some sort of juice, which I think is supposed to help you lose weight. So she gets the idea that she is going to be on this show. When she watches the show, she has a box of candies, chocolate candies, and she kind of has a ritual where she sort of touches each one and then chooses the candy she wants to eat. But when she thinks she's going to be on the show, she wants to wear this particular red dress she had from a long time ago, but she can't fit in it anymore because she's weighs too much. So she becomes addicted with losing weight and getting on the show, ends up on some diet pills, which makes her very hyper. And there's a lot of scenes with her where it's speeded up and she's cleaning in the house and she's doing all kinds of things and she's just frantic. It's a pretty brave performance. She does not look very well by the end of this film. She does have fantasies that she's on this show, and when she's on the show and she's watching herself, she looks much younger, her hair's made up, she has makeup on, and she's got that red dress on. And she's also has a food addiction, which is compounding the whole diet pill thing. And she looks at the fridge and she thinks the fridge is sort of her enemy and is coming to attack her. Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans are friends, and their dream is to become big-time drug dealers and then use that money to live on and not have to do it anymore. They end up kind of using too much of the drugs that they buy that they should be selling instead. And then Jennifer Connelly is Jared Leto's girlfriend. She wants to be a graphic artist, and her particular problems lead to some very unfortunate sexual encounters in order for her to get drugs and to get money. So it doesn't end well for any of these four characters at all. And for that reason, a lot of people think this is a very depressing film. A lot of people say, I can't watch this film. I've saw it once. That's all I can handle. This time around, I didn't find it depressing. I guess I should have, but I was just looking at it more for cinematically, I think, so I could talk about this with you. There are several cinematic techniques used in this film. We have like bird's eye views, looking down on the characters as if we're studying them, like they're rats in a maze or something. We have fisheye lenses. We have weird lighting effects. We have things speeded up and then things slow down in slow motion. We have quick cutting, especially when they do the drugs. It's very rhythmic and quick cutting to, and with sound effects of how they do their drugs each time. And it's very effective, and I think much imitated since this film came out. All these techniques build and build to the climax, and really effectively, and very hallucinatory also, especially with the Ellen Burstyn character as she starts imagining herself on TV and imagining this fridge in her apartment coming after her. Adding to all this is the music, which is very well done, electronic, pulsating, and then some of it uses the string quartet, the Kronos Quartet, and that gives a real edgy, tense vibe to everything. One criticism I have of this film is sometimes it's a little bit too arty and pretentious for its own good. Let me give you an example. This happens to be the steelbook version of this film, and if we take this nice little cover off, this clear cover, we see some artwork underneath it, and it's scenes like this, or shots like this, where you have Jared Leto and Jennifer Connelly, and they're lying like that. I don't know anybody who lies on the floor like that. And you can't tell, but in a circle around them is all her artwork that she wants to be a professional artist. So all her artwork's there, and the camera's looking down on them. And I thought, I think they just did that just for the effect, and it doesn't really make sense to the story, and it looks too staged and too posed to me. Now, another example I want to show you about how none of this ends well for any of the characters is here's the Ellen Burstyn character. And that's kind of her fate at the end, sort of a one flew over the cuckoo's nest thing, if you know what I mean. So I guess I can see why some people would say this could be a little bit depressing. But the acting, especially Ellen Burstyn, the cinematic flair it has, everything, the way it moves, the rhythm of it, the hallucinatory effects of it, build up to a really good film. I'm going to give this one 4.5 syringes out of 5. Now this is the DVD version, which I'll probably get rid of because I now have the steelbook version. And what is on here? Well, we have two main features, extra features on here. One is a making of documentary, which is about a half hour. It's really not that great. See if I can get this without any too much reflection. It's really not that great. It's mostly, it looks kind of like a home movie that somebody's shooting and the director is commenting and narrating what's going on. But it's a little too casual. It's not real informative. But to be honest, I only watched about half of it. There's also an interview between Ellen Burstyn and the writer of the novel, Hubert Selby Jr., who also co-wrote the screenplay. And I watched some of that. That was okay too. So, one problem I have is the dialogue's really low and then the other sounds come on really loud. So I wasn't too crazy about that. Now, where can you see Requiem for a Dream? Well, the usual places. You can rent it, you can buy it, you can check your local library. It's been out for quite a long time, so it should be available. That's part 3 of our Films on Drugs series. I think that is probably the penultimate part of this series. And next time we're going to look at a film about drug addiction from 1955. What could that be? Stay tuned and you'll find out. Meanwhile, feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down here. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Otherwise, thanks for watching. See you next time.